Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. My name is Josh Lilquist, and if you're just tuning in, we were covering some different topics in the market. As Al was talking about in the first segment, it's a trader's market. And then you need a strategy that's designed to be shorter term, to have great opportunities right now. The market's just not moving in that one direction anymore. There's markets going up. There's markets going down, so you need strategies and areas of interest. We call them zones to get in and out of your trades. And the big topic on the last segment was proper capital management. That way you don't have to be right or correct every single time. And we introduced these different strategies to use the markets for, in the last segment, we were talking about income strategies in these investing classes that we do here locally. Congratulations to those of you that texted in and really taking that first step to have the opportunity to improve that financial future. If you missed it, just text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class. We're local here in Bloomington, and that's one of the cool things is we're a local place to go out to learn how to trade and invest. There's no other brick and mortar trading and investing academy that, to my knowledge, that's out there. And we obviously we would know a lot of different areas, and there's just University of YouTube is pretty much the only place you can go. And is that information helpful? It may give you some knowledge, but you cannot build the skills. And that's where hands-on, in-center, in the academy, that's how you have better opportunities in the markets.
Yeah, you think about it, that's a huge component of what we provide for our students is having a place to come, having a community to spend time with. Mm-hmm. And when you think about it, look at all the pros out there, the top traders, the hedge fund managers. Did they learn on YouTube? No, they learned from other pros, from other people who are successful traders. And that's part of the benefit of having a community, a bricks and mortar location where you can come.
Yeah, just like any profession. Do you think an accountant learned how to be an accountant on YouTube? Probably not.
Hopefully not.
Do you think a chiropractor learned how to be a chiropractor on YouTube? Probably not. But everybody goes to that. It's amazing. Yeah. But what's funny is, Al, is I've been seeing and hearing more people that are coming to these classes say, you know what? I know there's different things to do in the markets, and I know that YouTube isn't going to do that. But let's get off our little soapbox there, and let's talk about those income strategies with those other assets that you were talking about in that last segment. You mentioned futures, forex, and options, and let's just keep it top line, high level. What is let's go with the futures market and the forex market first, and why might somebody use that as an opportunity for an income strategy rather than the stock market?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One is, I think I alluded to it earlier, the stock prices are very high, and for you to put together a position that gives you the opportunity to have good returns from it, it's pretty tough to put together a 100-share position in something like Apple. That's at $160 a share. It's close to where it's trading now. That's like $16,000 in one position. There are some stocks that are trading 2 or 3 or 4 times or 10 times that amount. That makes it very hard with the stock portfolio to be able to participate. So with the futures and the forex, because of the leverage, you can have a small account and you can control an investment, an overall investment that is worth a multiple of that. As an example, forex has about a 50-to-1 leverage. So a $2,000 investment account has the potential to control something worth $100,000. That's how you maximize the value of your investment dollars. That's how you participate in these markets in a way where your rate of return can be much higher than just buying and holding on to something. And we talk about buy and hold a lot and how over the last 2 years, pretty much you're flat. If you had a portfolio back in 2021, you're probably about where you were now then. And actually maybe even a little bit less than that because fees have been taken out. Now, you might say, well, my account's a little bit bigger than that. But also consider if you have a 401k, you've been contributing to it, as has your employer. So a lot of people, when they look at the bottom line on their 401k portfolios, it's actually not as good as you think it is because a good part of that growth has been your contribution and your employer's contribution. But Forex and futures, they trade short term, so you can make an investment, take a position, and know that you have the opportunity to reap the rewards of that position, if you're correct, in a short period of time. And then that leverage gives you the opportunity to participate in something that you might not be able to participate in as far as the value of an investment in the stock market. With the futures market, you have the opportunity to trade a number of things. You want to trade stocks? You can trade stocks within the futures market. You can trade all the major stock markets. You can trade foreign markets. You can trade commodities. You can trade oil, gold, silver, individual currencies, interest rates, a number of things. The diversification within that futures market is substantial. Trades almost 24 hours a day. The foreign exchange market, that's where you're looking at the difference in exchange rates between two different currencies. Trades 24 hours a day. They both have great leverage. The reason you haven't heard about them is that for a financial advisor or a broker to put together portfolios that are short term, it's almost impossible because they typically will have 200, 300, 400 clients, and it's pretty tough if you're looking at something short term of helping people get into and out of something if you have that many portfolios to manage.
Yeah, it's crazy that you mentioned that. I was having a conversation with a good friend this week, and he was talking about, he's like, I'm tired of my guy not hearing from him and me calling. In this case, it was a guy. I'm tired of my guy not hearing from him. I have to call him and say, hey, what are we doing here? And he was a fairly wealthy guy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, why isn't I pay this guy a fee and I'm getting all these fees on the back end that I don't even see. I get lackluster returns. Matter of fact, he said he was losing money the past couple of years. And he's like, why am I continuing to pay this guy when I can't even get a hold of him? Think about that for a second. People work their hard, all their lives for their hard-earned money, and then they give it to somebody to not even hear from them, especially if they're losing you money. I mean, that should be the time they're putting together strategies. Here's how we're going to protect it. But the problem is, Al, the way that's designed, and you were a broker for many years.
I was.
It's not designed to protect it. They may say you're diversified, but if you're in all the different stocks, and the stock market goes down, you will lose. There's just no way around that. So it's always that warm puppy dog rainbow feeling that they're going to give you. Nothing against the people. I know a lot of the people in the industry, but it's the industry. They're going to say, oh, we're going to keep you in this, and it's a long-term investment, and don't get excited. Don't put emotions into it. But I tell you what, when somebody's losing your money, that's emotional. That's why you need to do things differently and not continue to do that same thing over and over. I mentioned in that first segment, Al, that a lot of people in their 50, probably right now between 50 and 70 or 50 and 80, and if they had 401ks and IRAs, they are probably telling people, do things differently because it's not getting them to the retirement that they hope for.
Yeah.
But,
I was just going to say, one of the things you had asked me earlier, what we talk about in these classes, one of the things we do talk about is why your 401ks have not worked out for you, especially over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that people don't know that, but that's why we have these classes. If you have questions about your 401k, but in this segment, we've been talking more about income, which means if you have an income strategy that you need, if you're behind on your retirement accounts, you might need to use a little bit leverage, like Al has been talking about. How to use the capital that you do have. I mean, you don't need $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million to trade and invest. You can trade with much less when you have buying power, which means leverage, and you're efficient with the capital that you have. As Al was talking about, the futures market up to 20-to-1 leverage, the Forex market up to 50-to-1. What does that mean? So if you have a $2,000 account, let's just say an investor wants to start small because they want to be comfortable trading and investing for an income strategy, and they want to start with a $2,000 account. Great, do it. That $2,000 will act like $100,000 at 50-to-1 leverage. Now, some people will say, well, does that increase your risk? That is why we've been talking about this whole show. You need to protect your positions with proper capital management. And they don't teach you this anywhere else. When you have a 401k or IRA, they're telling you to put everything in the market, which means 100% at risk. Use smaller amounts of capital, put risk management parameters around there, have your losses very, very small, your winners much bigger, and then that way you don't have to be right every single time. So these concepts, we're throwing a lot at you on the show here today, and some of it may be brand new. Some of it is actually common sense, and most of you have heard about that stuff, but just don't know how to do that. We're going to introduce that to you in these investing classes, what it is, how it works, what might be beneficial towards your strategy and what you're looking to use the market for, and then how do you start to build that path and that vision, which is a plan. I want to talk about a trading plan and investment plan in the next segment, Al, on how people can have a step-by-step process, and then you just have to follow it. So write that down, Al, so we don't forget that, because sometimes our memories are short. So text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class to be introduced to these concepts we're talking about. If you want to have a better financial outlook, you might have to do things a little bit better and strategies that are designed for that. Text the word investing to the number 210. As I mentioned, coming up next, we're going to talk about that step-by-step plan, how to build consistency, how to build confidence in the market. Some people are brand new to the markets. Some people have been trading 20, 30 years and just want to have a better process and more consistency. We'll be right back.